Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to present our paper with my students. The title is Consumer Protection on Online Food Application During COVID-19, Examining the Regulation and the Role of Government. The background. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused people's routines to change to online food application. McKinsey data in 2020 revealed that 34% of consumers they surveyed had ordered more food delivery online since the COVID-19 pandemic. Ernawanti's research in 2018 reported that around 35% of packaged processed food sold on marketplace site did not have the required permits or food labels. Another proxy, there were 1 million cases of diarrhea in 2018. Consumers really need to be guaranteed over the unsafe food because consuming food will have a direct impact on health. And one of the basic rights of consumer is the right to safety. The right to safety is very important for consumer. And the other important thing is the right of information. So when we talk about the safety, it is also about their health condition. As we know that the health is a very fundamental in our life. The research question, the aim of this research is to examine, the first one is the regulation of consumer protection of online food application during COVID-19. And the second one is the role of the government on consumer protection of online food application during COVID-19. While when we talk about the research method, this research was conducted by empirical normative legal research with a qualitative approach. The data consisted of primary data sources and the secondary data sources obtained from primary, secondary, and tertiary laws. Primary data comes from the head of regional branch of the National Agency of Drug and Food Control, BBPOM, and the head of the regional branch Department of Industry and Trade. Primary data was collected by an interview, while the secondary data was gathered by a literature study. All data was analyzed using qualitative descriptive approach. Discussion. We start from Law Friedman's theory about the legal system. Lawrence Friedman argues that the effectiveness and the success of law enforcement depend on three elements of the legal system: the structure of law, the substance of law, and the legal culture. We found that three elements are very important. So in this paper, we start from the substance of law rather than we talking about the structure. We will examine if there is a substance of law concerning consumer protection and about the structure of the Indonesian government to protect the consumer. The substance. The issue is the availability of regulation. The ability of regulation is the presence of the state. So when we talk about the welfare state, the state must be present by the regulation they made. The state's responsibility and obligation to protect the society, especially in this case, is the consumer, because the consumer has the lower bargaining position in front of the business. It is stated in the Constitution of Republic Indonesia 1945 in the Article 28D. every person shall have the right of recognition, guarantees, protection, and certainty before a just law, and of equal treatment before the law. And the Article 28H, every person shall have the right to life in physical and spiritual prosperity, with a home and enjoy a good, healthy environment, and shall have the right to obtain medical care. The other regulation is Law of the Republic Indonesia number 8, year 1999, concerning consumer protection. In the Article 29, the government is responsible for developing the implementation of consumers protection, which guarantee the rights of the consumers and the entrepreneurs, and the implementation of the obligation of the consumers and the entrepreneurs. In the Article 13, we found that supervision for the implementation of the consumer protection and application of the legal provisions shall be carried out by the government, public and non-government consumer protection foundation. And the Article 33, the National Consumer Protection Agency function to provide suggestion and consideration to the government in the framework of developing consumer protection in Indonesia. The other regulation is regulation of the National Agency of Drug and Food, number 8, year 2020, about the control of drug and food distributed online. In Article 16, the processed food is circulated online shall be obligatory, has a distribution permit, and complies with good production method in accordance with the provision of laws and regulation, but exempted from the distribution permit obligation as referred to paragraph 1st for a processed fast food and processed food which are further used as raw material by business actors and not sold directly to the final consumer. What about the ready-to-serve processed food? It is food and or beverages that have been processed and ready to be served directly to the place of business or outside the place of business. So some weakness of this regulation are the establishment of the food safety facilitator whose implementation is not very clear yet, and the additional responsible have not been discussed technically, and the related to the abolition of administrative sanction is also still being a problem. And the other one is about the law of the Republic Indonesia number 18 of 2012 on food. Food safety means a condition and effort that is required to prevent food from biological, chemical, and physical contaminant that can interfere, harm, and endanger the human health. So the structure of government agency, the regional agency of drug and food control said that only responsible for supervising on the sale of processed food, but not for ready-to-serve food. And also the regional agency of Department of Industry and Trade also said has no role in monitoring and preventing the sale of poor quality of food in online application. So there is no legal basis to reach that situation. The conclusion is there are no specific rules that regulate to consumer protection for online food application transaction. The National Agency of Drug, Food and Control released regulation of the National Agency of Drug and Food Control number 8, 2020 about the control of drug and food distributed online, but excluding the ready-to-serve processed food. The Regional Agency of Drug and Food Control also said that there is no specific the sale food in online application. They're only responsible for supervising the sale of processed food sold through online application, but not for ready-to-serve food. The Regional Agency of Department of Industry and Trade also said has no role in monitoring and preventing the sale poor quality of food in online application-based transaction, as they assume there is no authority or obligation to take any action on that situation. This situation is potentially raising some problems for the consumer due to their changing habit consumption to rely on online transaction. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.